What's up, guys? Spirit here, and with the new information that my 3DS is out getting its capture board installed, I decided to treat you guys to a little something on today. I'm doing my top 10 decks of the format for January 2014. This is something new I'm doing. I haven't really done it before, so bear with me, and let's get started. At number 10, I have Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers are a very strong deck this format, even if they are a little bit slow. There are three reasons why I believe that the Gravekeepers are going to continue to thrive and stay strong. Number one would be their counter trap card. The new Tomb of Necro Valley is very, 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 very strong. It's almost always having the Gravekeeper monster and Necro Valley face up, so you're always able to use it. So it's really a really good card, and it gives something Gravekeepers really don't have in the main deck, something to be able to negate monster effects, which is really, really busted. And next is Necro Valley. Necro Valley in general is very trolly. Just being able to lock down the graveyard completely is something Gravekeepers have had for a long, long time, and it makes them the deck they are today. And the last one is a more reliable Spy, more Gravekeeper Spy, because with the new card set released, it's really, really, really easy to get it out, and it's really even easier to get its effect off. Moving on, number 9 are the Prophecy cards. Believe it or not, didn't even want to put these on here, but after YCS top 5260 card Prophecy, I just couldn't see how not to put them on here. They're a really good deck. They still seem to have some consistency, although if you don't draw Batel or Secrets, you're pretty much shit out of luck. So they're a really, really good deck if you want to deal with them, but I honestly don't. So let's just move on. Number 8 is Constellars. Constellars are very annoying last format. They are very annoying this format. The first reason why is, of course, Pallades. That first turn Pallades can shut down decks very, very fast. Simply being able to make it where your opponent cannot get any plays off while you continue to set up is rather gruesome. The second reason is, of course, their comeback ability, being able to turn almost any game around on the tip of a hat, which is very, very annoying. And number 3 is their speed. It usually takes about a turn or two for Constellars to set up anything significant, and that's very bad. Moving on to number 7, we have any Dragon variant deck. I keep running across these on DN Dev Pro and in locals. The cards are really, really simple to get a hold of now because of the ban list. So 3 reasons why they're really good. Number 1 is, of course, their power. The raw power in Dragons is always very, very, very reliable. It's just a very strong, very, very powerful deck, and it's really difficult to get over a very high-powered dragon. Number 2 would be, of course, they're very cheap cards. Not in the saying that they're a cheap deck to play, but they're cheap cards are in price. After the ban list, all the element dragons drop below $1, and the only really thing you'd have to spend anything on is the extra deck. Past that, the deck itself is probably under $10 in price, and you can beat just about any metagame deck with it if you know what you're doing. So that's kind of messed up right there. And the last reason is their reliability. Dragons are always going to be reliable for power and strength, so it's a good deck to have. Moving on is, of course, at number 6 is the Boojins. Boojins, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are wondering why this isn't higher on the list. Boojins are very strong, this is true, but I don't believe they'll have a lot of their strength until after Primal Origins comes out. They're still very, very slow to set up, and if you kill them quickly, it's really difficult for them to come back. First reason is, of course, their power. They're very strong cards once they have a setup, like 2 Turtle in Graveyard and Crane in hand and the XYZ monster out. It really tends to be difficult to get over them because they can pretty much negate anything and everything. Number 2 is, of course, their support. This Primal Origins will be I think it's their third, might be fourth, set of support through the year. So it's just wow, you guys are getting nothing but support. For some reason, Konami doesn't want to shut the fuck up about these guys, which is really annoying when it comes to playing the game, as these are the only ones that are really expensive. For God's sake, Yamamoto is like $45, and you need 3 of him for the deck. And the last one is, of course, control. Once they start controlling the field, it is very, very difficult to take it back, and that's something that non-targets can really only take care of. Number 5 is any machine variant at all. This includes Cyber Dragons, Geargia, Curry, etc., etc. The reasons behind those cards is simply because of the new Cyber Dragon set. I was gonna just put Geargia Curry on here, but with the new Cyber Dragon set released, it seems kind of redundant to just put Geargia Curry on here because people are now making variants, including the new Cyber Dragon cards. The 3 reasons these cards are really, really annoying is, of course, number 1 is their survivability. They can last a lot of big hits, and it's really tiresome to have to hit time and time again just to take them out. Number 2 is the quick kill. The quick kill is very, very, very annoying. They can one-hit most decks, whether it be the Cyber Twin at 5600 from Power Bond, or double that on top of it when you drop Limiter Removal, or the Field Full of Monsters kill from Geargia Curry. And the last reason is, of course, the slow to side deck, being that there are bigger threats this format than Geargia Curry, etc. You really can't side system down, or the Chimera Tech for Cyber Dragons, because it's just not worth the extra deck. It's not worth the extra deck slot, especially with all what you all have to deal with. So you have to side deck some cards like Divine Wrath that are good for all decks, so you can work with them. On to number 4 is, of course, the Fire Fists. Fire Fists, as we all know, are very annoying cards that are very strong in solid power and can really rape once they start going off. There's 3 reasons why. Is, of course, number 1 is consistency. The consistency of Fire Fists is very trolly. The fact that they can get almost anything off with just 1 or 2 cards is very annoying, and they can pull off different moves in different sets just based on a player's playstyle. Number 2 is, of course, their effects. The Fire Fists seem to have coverage with just about anything, and that's main deck. In the side deck, of course, they have added benefits for whatever they're fighting, as do we all, but it's just the fact that they have coverage for just about anything main deck that tends to be their upbringing. The only cards I know that completely shut them down is the Harpies, and that's just because they have such field wipe that the Fire Fist can't keep presence long enough. Speaking of presence, that's the last reason I know I like them. Right around the Harpies, they keep the most presence on the board I've seen this format. It's really difficult to wipe their fields without them having something left, and if they have 1 card, they can really come back. So that's why. Number 3 is, of course, Madolches. I'm not sure why I have to explain this, but number 1 is, of course, because Queen doesn't target. In a heavy format where a lot of effect negation comes to around targeting monsters, when you have a monster that simply, its boss monster's effect doesn't target and can get rid of big cards without any effort at all, and you can recycle her on top of that, that's kind of busted. She's really, really good card, and she's really fucking busted. And I know you're listening in, John, so fuck you. Now, moving on is, of course, their consistency, being as they have 2 search cards in Mag and Ticket, and being able to get whatever they want whenever they want. It really annoys. I'm not really sure what to say past that. And number 3 is, of course, Angeli. If you guys haven't seen, Madolche Angeli comes out in Primal Origins. When that card comes out, Madolches are going to jump to tier 1 if they are not hit by the ban list beforehand. So, yeah, I'd recommend trying to find something to side against them. I personally side Transmigration Break. It's a very good card to side against Madolches, as it shuts down their ability to recycle. But I digress. Moving on. Number 2 is, of course, my favorite deck of the format, which is Harpies. Harpies are a very, very powerful deck. They tend not to need explanation. Number 1, of course, is the back row. Harpies do not give a shit about your back row at all. They don't even main deck MST. That's how freaking strong they are when it comes to wiping back row. That Hunting Ground card completely and utterly destroys back row all at once, and this is why they are the bane of Fire Fist, because Fire Fist can't seem to hold back row, which is their entire deck. And they're really, 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 really good at taking him out. I should know. I play them. Moving on is, of course, their +3 effect and hysteric sign, being able to come back out of nowhere with just a simple +3 is completely and utterly busted. Like, I have 2 cards, maybe even 1 card left in hand. I drop sign. Next turn, I'm going to have 4 to 5 cards in hand, and you're still going to be stuck with your top decks if you didn't get anything off. Being able to +3 off of nothing and thin out the deck at the same time is absolutely deplorably busted. Not complaining because I play the deck, but still. Moving on. And the last reason is, of course, there's side deck inconsistency. If any of you played Harpies, you know they're difficult as hell to side against because back row is not really an option to side against Harpies because they can blow it away in one shot with Hunting Ground. A lot of people have suggested deck lockdown and skill drain. I haven't seen really much significance in it closing off anything, but that's just me personally. So if you like to side those cards against them, that's your own hang up. I personally side Effect Veiler for Mirror Match, but that's just me. Moving on to the number 1 deck of the format. If you guys didn't see this coming, I don't know why, is of course Mermails. Mermails are very, very strong in this format, and they are a pain in the ass to play. For a couple reasons. Number 1 is, of course, their speed. Mermails are incredibly fast, and because of this, they are a pain in the butt to play. So they can get just about anything off with 2 or 3 cards, and it tends to be very consistent, whether it be the same cards or not. Number 2 is, of course, Abyss Gaios. Being able to play that first or second turn is absolutely completely busted. Just being able to drop him on the field and make sure your opponent can't get any plays off. Once you see something come that's dangerous, you better have a Fiendish Chain set, or you're not going to do anything for the turn. And that's just about every single deck. So yeah, he's really, really annoying. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Yeah, he's bad. He's very, very bad. And then number 1 reason is, of course, the cards. Everybody, if you don't understand what I mean by this, let me explain. Mermails, last format, were very cheap. Very, very cheap. Especially after Abyss Megaloo got a reprint. When everybody was up on Dragon Rulers, Mermails had dropped in price significantly, and anybody could pick it up as an on-the-fly cheap deck. And while they were doing that, the Dragon Rulers were ruling everything, and then when Dragon Rulers dropped off the list completely, Mermails just spiked in price simply because they had consistencies that no deck had anymore. And with Abyss Gaios jumping in as well, it just made them 10 times more busted. Almost every person I've ever seen at regionals, like 8 to 10 people played Mermails, 5 to 6 played Harpies, anything else played any other random deck. I don't know how Lavo Quasar went 6 for 1 in 7 rounds. That's kind of badass for a Lavo Quasar. Mad respect to that player. But no, I digress. The Mermails are, of course, significantly busted, and I think, of course, when it comes to banless time, they're gonna get hit. Harpies will get hit. Madolches will get hit. Sorry, John, but no. And past that, this was my top 10 deck list of the format. I do like to quote that this is my personal list and in no way has any shape or form to any of my friends or to any of the card game players I know. Past that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and next week starts Pokemon live stream. So I'll see you guys then. Later!